McMain.
And thank you so much to our listeners. It is great to be back on the air after a 2-week hiatus. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I hope your New Year's off to a great start. Chastity, I'm gone 2 weeks, and the entire world is coming apart in my absence.
That's why you can't leave anymore.
Man, I mean, it's just, every day there's a new story going on, and I'm chomping at the bit. Can't wait to get back on the air and talk about it and dig in. So we got a great lineup, and there's a lot of things we have to cover. There's 2 weeks of things that took place while I was gone.
Yes.
Did you have a good Christmas?
We had a wonderful Christmas. It was great. Kids were all home. It was wonderful.
Isn't that great? Having the family together.
Lots of food.
Yeah. I had the boys together. What a blessing that is, right?
Love it, yes.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And I had a nice little surprise when I came in today. You had some Stone Mountain pecans waiting for me here in the little gift tin.
I did, yes.
Thank you to you and Jason for that.
Absolutely. And we were looking for your Trailblazer little mix, the Marc McMain.
That's a custom mix. You got a special rreceipe.
We're working on that.
It's a secret recipe.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't wait. I dug into one of them, and I think I've already knocked about 10% off those pecans. Absolutely delicious. Stone Mountain pecan. What a great place to get a treat. Let's start off with this. I am ultra proud of the University of Georgia Bulldogs.
Yep.
As much of a bummer as it was to see them lose, which was a great game, by the way. We don't talk sports too much on the Marc McMain show, but I have to give a shout out to Kirby Smart and his team for them continually providing this excellent team every year. They're a perennial playoff team. We're spoiled, Chastity.
Yes.
We've won 2 of the last 4 national championships. Every year we're in the playoffs, well, with the exception of a couple years ago when there was only 4 teams and we got slighted. We should have been in that year. But every year they put together this team that is a perennial playoff team. We know we're going to make it in the top 12. And bummer that they lost, but what an exciting game. What a great season.
It was fun.
And I can't wait for 2026. It's a young Bulldogs team.
Yeah, go Dogs.
Yeah, a lot of young guys, a lot of freshmen.
Yes.
So I would imagine that most of them are coming back. I don't know how the portal is affecting us this year. Hang on a second. Oh, mercy. I don't know. I'm not sick. Just got a little something. Got a little frog in my throat. But they're going to be good. They're going to be good for 2026. But I was thinking about this. Think about what the coaches, what they have to do to be sure that their team is every year elite. And let me just say something. For anybody out there that knocks our coaching staff for the Bulldogs, we are the envy of the rest of college football. Every other team in this country would just salivate a chance to have Kirby Smart and his team leading them. And then these young men, they get out there and they risk their health and well-being to put on a show for us, all just to be sure that our Saturdays in the fall are a little bit more entertaining.
All red and black.
That's it. I'm proud of them. Just absolutely proud of them.
Yes.
But that was a tough loss.
No, it was tough. Yeah, that was a nail-biter. It was so close.
Did you watch the whole game?
Pretty much,
yeah.
And it was good.
It was.
They played hard. They never gave up, so that's important.
That's the best part, too. It's like, how many times have they been down by 10 points late, and then, you might shut it off, or you go to the bathroom, come back, and it's tied.
And you're
like,
wow, what happened?
They're never out of it. Never. And when they rarely do lose, it always seems like it's a close game. A great show in store today. We got the mayor of Watkinsville, Brian Broderick. He's going to be joining us via phone in just a little bit. David Earl, Franklin's Gun Shop, is going to call in with the fishing report. And then our sheriff here in Walton County, Keith Brooks, is going to be in studio and is going to give us kind of an update as to his first year as sheriff of Walton County. His accomplishments and things that they've done.
He's got some good news for Walton County. So and we're just blessed. He's such an amazing sheriff.
Yeah, we are surrounded by good sheriffs. Absolutely. So let's talk. News just broke that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is no longer going to run for re-election. No shock there because he has been at the helm at Minnesota during one of the most fraudulent times that anyone's. And this is not just fraud on a minor scale, Chassie. This isn't thousands or hundreds of thousands. This isn't millions. This is billions with a B, baby.
It's
B.
crazy.
And so, just incredible fraud under his watch. Now, what the frightening part is to think about, this dude was just inches away from being the second most powerful man in the nation, right? Let alone the governor of Minnesota. I don't know what those morons were thinking, voting him into office with all his shenanigans and just the weird stuff. You remember about the tampons in the boy bathrooms? Just little creepy stuff like that.
Tampon
Tim was his nickname. But now all of a sudden you've got this Nick Shirley's come out, exposed what appears to be alleged fraud by all these institutions claiming to be either autism centers or child care centers,
medical facilities.
Well, did you hear about the Feeding Our Future? This was a big one. This is a now defunct nonprofit that claimed to feed hundreds of children during the COVID. They received hundreds of millions of dollars in federal funds, and prosecutors alleged it provided few real meals to children. Instead, submitted bogus data to collect funds. So more than 50 people of that organization have already pled guilty. Right? That was one of the big ones in Minnesota. But Chastity, there's more. Ugh. You had the Child Care Assistance Program abuse. Investigations were triggered after a viral video highlighted daycare centers receiving government funds that appeared to have few or no children present. We just saw that. We saw the air out on social media in real time.
It's all over the media, and I mean, it's really just sad. So much money just.
Well, and
where is it?
It's kind of funny too, because in the video, if you haven't seen the video, I'm sure you have. Most everyone has. They go, they knock on the door. Guy answers barely speaks English. Or the woman answers, barely speaks English, and the guy in the video says, "Hey, I want to get my little son, into your daycare." Say, "Oh, well, no, this isn't the place for you."
No kids.
No kids.
All. None.
Yep.
And it's during their hours of operation. So
Just
where
bizarre.
are the children at?
And they're calling it industrial scale Medicare billing fraud. So not just in the daycare stuff, but the Medicare billing fraud. You have these entities that are going and claiming Medicare dollars. This one is really bad. The autism therapy program exploitation. So billing for early intensive developmental and behavioral intervention, autism services ballooned dramatically over a few years, with fraud allegations involving millions of dollars for questionable or non-existent services. So here they are using the label of autism,
sure,
to hide their scam.
Corruption.
Yep. And of course, you have the typical identity theft, sham claims. This is, a lot of this is supposedly perpetrated by the Somalian community. And President Trump has come out and said, "Hey, it's over. We're done."
Good.
And I think we covered this before about a month or so ago, that a generous portion of Somalian immigrants are on SNAP benefits. What are we doing with that anyways? Why are we not bringing over the best and the brightest? Why are we importing or allowing people to come to this country that then put them on welfare programs?
And they're so angry. They're just so defensive. It's, I don't know.
Well, it's because they feel entitled and they felt protected, and now they're exposed. And the game is over.
Like it.
Yep. It's going to be painful. Game is over. Hey, how about the monks walking for peace?
It was just such an extraordinary experience. Absolutely.
You got to go see him, right?
I did. I got to go see him, and I got to give him a little flower, which was special. Did
they take it?
They did.
They didn't throw it out like a mile down the road?
No.
Okay.
And it was something definitely to experience. So I'm glad that I got.
Did they try to convert you to Buddhism?
No.
So there wasn't like a conversion.
No, that you're not actually allowed to speak to them. Really, I just told them thank you, and we love them because I love everybody.
Yeah.
And so, but just being able to see the experience and then them coming through Monroe, Georgia, I thought was just a special treat.
I was down in Florida when this was happening, but I thought it was great.
Yes.
You're listening to the Marc McMain show. I did a little research on this. So these are Buddhist monks, right? Now, look, I get it. I'm a Christian. There's one way to heaven, and that is through Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
Right? But they started their, 2,300-mile walk for peace. Started in Fort Worth, Texas. Going to finish up in Washington, D.C. And, of course, last week, it came through parts of Georgia. Now, I find this interesting. Some of the cities that they came through, I think they needed to have somebody with a better geographical understanding of Georgia. They went through DeKalb County. Oh. There's certain areas there you don't go marching through.
No.
But I'm so proud of our neighbors here in Walton and Oconee County. I think maybe it went through Walton. Did they go through any of Morgan County? Did the path take them through Morgan? Because it was 83.
Yeah.
So it had to take them through a portion of Morgan and then into Oconee County. I'm so proud of our neighbors and how they treated them. And these mostly Christians getting out there and welcoming these people. Look, I get it. Everybody had a different message, right? There are some people out there that were actually trying to spread the gospel and perhaps, I guess, convert these monks to Christianity, which, hey, you do you, right?
Right.
But for the greater concept of these guys coming, doing their walk for peace, the best thing that we can do as Christians is to display our Christian behavior,
Yes.
demonstrate it by showing our love. It's what Christ would do.
And not judging. Because, I mean, it's just simply, a walk for peace. And I did a little research myself, and really they take this walk when the world's just kind of going, when there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of chaos. So they just walk for peace, just to remind everyone that, love is beautiful, and, I thought it was amazing. I was happy to be a part of it.
Oh, that's cool. I think they need to do the walk for peace in Ukraine, though.
Yeah. I think
that needs to be the next walk for peace. And then
or
maybe
Venezuela.
Go to Venezuela and then go hit Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That's where they definitely need the peace. We are, the United States is administering peace through strength. And that's what I love about the United States, baby.
Yes.
But you know what? Get out there and show what great Christians we are by being good people. Amen to that.
Nice.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Big deal over the weekend. Wow. This military action going and capturing Maduro, who's standing trial probably as we speak right now. I haven't checked the news lately, but I'm sure he is being listed, given the list of all the things that he's being charged with. But this was an absolute shockingly accurate and precise extraction of this dude. So proud of our military, so proud of the DEA, Department of Justice, everyone involved in getting this done and doing it without losing one American soul. Thank God for that. But I think it demonstrates a couple of different things. And I've got Mitch Swan coming in tomorrow. We're going to dig deep on this. And I've got Alan Sims calling in on Wednesday to talk about the post effects of this.
Nice.
So Mitch is going to take us everything up to why it happened, to the point where it happened. And then Alan and I are going to talk about what's next, right? What does the future hold? But my opinion is this was Trump not just taking care of something that he promised he would take care of, and that is stopping the traffic of drugs into our country that are killing our men and women by the thousands every month. But he also sent a signal to other countries that are partaking in these festivities and telling them it's over. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. Like Mitch has said in the past, they have killed they've killed I think he says it's 2 companies a year without ever firing a bullet, and these are fighting age men that are dying of these drugs. So, yes, while we do need to take care of business at home and have a better approach to getting people off of drugs, we also need to cut off the supply.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
You shut off the spigot, and then you fix it on the other end as well. So,
Absolutely.
just proud of our team and what they did and how effective they were. Just absolutely stunning. And the Delta Force was involved. That's a bad bunch of hombres right there. Bad bunch of hombres.
Yep.
All right, when we come back, Mayor of Watkinsville, Mr. Brian Broderick.
AI now touches nearly every part of life, from writing articles to even driving cars. But it raises a deeper question. If we created AI, where did our intelligence come from? The Bible says it's a gift from God. He gave us the ability to think, reason, and make sense of the world. Some assume Christianity is just blind faith, believing something is true because the Bible says so. But that's not the case. Genuine faith invites tough questions. It engages the mind. As one pastor said, you don't have to give up your intellect to trust the Bible. You have to give up your pride. Real intelligence isn't just logic or knowledge. It's knowing the God who made you and loving Him with every part of who you are, including your mind. This is Bryant Wright. Really, Bryant Wright, not AI, speaking right from my heart.
Seeking spiritual truth? RightFromTheHeart.org has resources just for you.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to mainstreetbarberloganville.com to learn more.
And welcome back, Marc McMain. Is that new bumper music, Chastity?
Yes.
Pretty good stuff.
2026
All right.
for you.
Got off to a good start for 2026.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Our first guest of the day is the mayor of Watkinsville, Georgia, our friend Brian Broderick. How you doing, Mr. Mayor?
Doing great. How are you, Mark? Happy New Year to you and Chastity.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. Did you do anything special for Christmas?
You know, we stayed close to home. We have a lot of family nearby, and we welcomed some out-of-town guests and family from North Carolina towards the New Year. So we really just stayed close to home and had a very simple but fun Christmas. We have some family in Walton County, and they came over and celebrated with us Christmas Eve, and we had a full house and a wonderful Christmas Day and
That's
church
awesome.
services and all the things that go along with the holidays.
That's fantastic. What about New Year's? Do you go big on New Year's?
No, you know, we get together with some friends, and you know, we have a tradition with that. But some of them were into Stranger Things, and we weren't. So we spent a little bit of time watching football at their house. And when they started watching that, we came back and kind of low-keyed it. And I had a nephew and a niece in town who wanted to stay up till midnight. So my wife and I did that. We had a great time. But yeah, we're not big party animals on New Year's.
You're
Eve.
not going till 4 a.m. and blowing the kazoos and the whole 9 yards.
The kazoos were blown, and we went to bed at 12:15.
Well, so traditionally, my wife and I would spend New Year's down in Mexico because it's a big deal down there, right? They do go till 3 or 4 a.m, and then we have not gone down for New Year's for the past several years for a myriad of reasons, and so this year was just Lillian and I on the beach, just the two of us. Pretty low key, and she informed me that this is the last year that she's going to stare at just my face on New Year's Eve. So next year I got to find plans. I got to find somebody that's got endurance.
Hearing about what you guys come up with.
Yeah. You know what we did last year? Last year we were at Osteriolio in Athens, and that's where so they had like a special event there. That was a lot of fun. But this year it was just her and I.
Yep.
So tell us about Watkinsville. I know you guys had a lot of stuff. Did everything go good for Christmas in downtown?
It did. You know, we had a great Christmas parade and tree lighting, wonderful attendance there, and our businesses had, as far as I know, had a great holiday season based on what they shared with me just a few days before. So really blessed to have that retail core have a strong holiday season. And then, just Saturday we hosted the Walk for Peace, which I know also came through Walton County, and we had a big crowd of people come to Watkinsville to enjoy that, and I think I got memories of the Olympic torch relay from back in 1996. A little bit of a different vibe, but it was still great to see, the community come together and also visitors from out of town in a very peaceful way and celebrate something very simple and watch that go by, and then hopefully enjoy some time in downtown Watkinsville after that. So we've had a great holiday season, and we've also been doing some infrastructure work while traffic was a little bit low on a couple roads to get ready for some new sidewalks and pedestrian connections we're putting in. So we took advantage of low traffic days and did some detours and some road shutdowns to get some things ready.
How did you guys manage with the monks that were walking through? Did you pick them up at the county line and escort them, or how does that get coordinated?
I think Oconee sheriffs just worked with the Walton sheriff and picked them up at the county line, and they really led the way the whole way through. Our officers supported once they came into the city limits and assisted with crowd control, and we actually closed down 2 roads for them to be able to use, and then on the state routes and some of the county roads, they just stayed on the shoulder. But there were definitely some railroad crossings and other places where we wanted to provide some additional support. And we had, probably thousands of people in Watkinsville just to observe and, support them. And it was really a nice moment for our community.
I don't think a lot of people know that this journey for them has not been without difficulty. I guess earlier in the walk, 2 monks were injured when a truck struck their escort vehicle in Texas. Were you aware of this?
I heard that one of them had actually lost a part of his leg.
Had a piece of his leg amputated. Yeah.
So it's not been easy. I'm really grateful to all the the law enforcement who are supporting them and making sure they get safely through the communities. It's 300 multiple speed with protection from traffic and other things and distracted drives. It can be a real challenge.
Oh, no doubt. It's just
not
walking.
I'm just really appreciative that law enforcement's very busy as it is, that they can all make time to support that.
Yeah, I mean, it's dangerous enough just driving, much less walking alongside the road. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Brian Broderick, mayor of Watkinsville. Going back to the Christmas shopping, what's interesting, too, is I think there's been a shift. A lot of people now do like to shop online, but I think what's happened is the people that traditionally gravitated towards the malls now gravitate towards the small towns. And when you look at towns like Watkinsville, there's such a plethora of options to go do your Christmas shopping, not just Christmas, whatever shopping. So I think that now, have you seen that as mayor of Watkinsville? Do people make this a destination to come and do their shopping for Christmas and other events?
What happens, Mark, is yes. The general answer is yes. But what I really think it is retailers have pivoted, and they know that they can't just sell something that somebody can find on Amazon.
Right.
And so they've had to get really creative and deliver products and service and experiences that you just aren't going to be able to get online. And I think this is true in Monroe. I think it's true in Good Hope, and in a lot of these other Rutledge and other Madison, other communities in your listening area, as well as Watkinsville, where our retailers. Most of the stuff that they sell, you aren't going to find it online, or you're not going to find it easily online. They're trying to be very local, very curated, very unique options and experiences, whether that's photography from Chris Greer or local things that are very local at Outpost Oconee, or, something that's spiritually driven at the Well, or something from Bird and Brass. Or we have, we're going to have soon a company that has driving ranges, indoor driving ranges and stuff like that.
Cool.
So I think retailers have really pivoted towards that. What can I do that someone can't press one button and get it online? At least your downtown and small retailers, the same as our retailers at Wire Park. It's not fast fashion. It's high quality stuff. A lot of it's locally driven, locally curated. So I think people who really want to get something unique and are looking for something that people are going to remember, they do tend to shop in these small towns, because that's where you're going to find that really cool stuff that you just aren't going to find somewhere else. I mean, we've got an antique store that has stuff from the Civil War. They've got fossilized dinosaur eggs. I mean, really amazing stuff. They've also got probably the tea set that's in your grandma's attic, or may have been in your grandma's attic, that you remember and want to give to your sister.
So you're not going to find
those
that,
are the kind of places. They're called antique treasures, and they do have treasures, So I'm really proud of those retailers. It's not easy to be a retailer right now.
No, and that's what I say, too, is even if it's a retailer who is selling products that can be found online, what I've noticed, too, is retailers have gotten better on pricing. I'm willing to pay a premium, meaning if I can go in and I can touch it, feel it, try it on, whatever it may be, versus just buying the cheapest thing that's available online. So there's value in being able to go out and see it in person. And that's what I'm also impressed with retailers, how they pivoted in that capacity as well, being more competitive on the price side.
Right. And then to take it back to what we have to do as city leaders is we've got to make it just really easy for people to get there. We've got to have convenient parking. We've got to make it safe for people to walk around. It's got to feel your streets and sidewalks have to be clean. All those little details. And I think, again, in your listening area, we've just got some really wonderful downtown. Spent time in Monroe's downtown after Christmas visiting with some family. I'm through a lot of the others, and we're just really blessed that there's a lot of places in Georgia that would love to have some of the thriving downtowns we do in Walton, Morgan, and Oconee counties.
No doubt.
Yeah,
they're very special places. And congratulations, by the way, in the grand opening for Jackson. Or that was your grand opening of your new facility for Jackson Spalding, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Very impressive.
Yeah.
So what's next now? What do you guys look at for for Watkinsville for 2026? Do you have a little bit of a hiatus, being that we're in January, or is there some big event coming up already around the corner that you're planning for?
Well, I mean, the big thing we're planning for is America 250. You know, we're planning to have a really great community celebration at Thomas Farm Preserve on July 3rd that evening. So we're very excited about that. We'll announce the details in the next couple months, but our goal is to celebrate. Every municipality in Oconee County is going to celebrate in June and the lead up to that event in different ways. And then we hope to have a culminating event on July 3rd that night in Watkinsville, where we want the community to come together at our newest park and enjoy music and food, traditional games, and likely a really unique either drone or fireworks show that evening is what we're working to put together. So we're planning for that. And at the same time, also to help facilitate that, we're creating a really unique sidewalk network that's going to allow people to get from our downtown and from First Baptist Church to that park, which has limited parking. So the park is 100 acres, but we probably only have 150 parking spaces there. So we're creating a new pedestrian network that's going to connect all that. So we have a lot happening in the first half of the year to get ready for that. Obviously, that's permanent infrastructure that'll be great for our community, but that we're really excited about having a community-wide, county-wide celebration for America's 250th birthday. So we're doing a lot of planning for that. And then other than that, we do a planning session for our city council that's open to the public. We do it every year in February, and that helps set the agenda for what we'll be doing in the year ahead. What are our priorities going to be? What are we going to be working on in the new year? And we have some really exciting stuff on the board, and I'm sure council and the public will probably have some other things that we'll also put on the list and see what we can afford. We have to work within our means and keep our taxes low. But we also, our citizens are very clear that they, are interested in us continuing to create these meaningful connections and maintaining a strong downtown and maintaining strong police presence in the community as well to keep crime low.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy 2026. When we come back, more with the mayor of Watkinsville, Brian Broderick.
AI now touches nearly every part of life, from writing articles to even driving cars. But it raises a deeper question. If we created AI, where did our intelligence come from? The Bible says it's a gift from God. He gave us the ability to think, reason, and make sense of the world. Some assume Christianity is just blind faith, believing something is true because the Bible says so. But that's not the case. Genuine faith invites tough questions. It engages the mind. As one pastor said, you don't have to give up your intellect to trust the Bible. You have to give up your pride. Real intelligence isn't just logic or knowledge. It's knowing the God who made you and loving Him with every part of who you are, including your mind. This is Bryant Wright. Really, Bryant Wright, not AI, speaking right from my heart.
Seeking spiritual truth? RightFromTheHeart.org has resources just for you.
Get ready to twist and shout and rock around the clock because Good Time Oldies. FM 102.5 has brought the golden age of music back to Walton County and your radio. From sock-hop classics of the 50s to the groovy vibes of the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, it's wall-to-wall hits that define generations. Whether you're cruising in your Chevy or chilling at home, tune in and turn it up because these oldies aren't just good, they're legendary. It's Good Time Oldies, FM 102.5 WKUN.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
When it comes to tasty treats, the only place you need to be is Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Offering high-quality Georgia pecans, other nuts, dried fruits, coffees, and candies, Stone Mountain Pecan has it all. And the best part, it's all online at stonemountainpecan.com. Or take it all in person and visit their country store on Highway 78 in Monroe. Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Something for everyone. Eat well, be happy. Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to mainstreetbarberloganville.com to learn more.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. We're continuing our conversation with the mayor of Watkinsville, Brian Broderick. Brian, we are about to go into the next 2026 legislative session under the Gold Dome. What are you looking for as a mayor? Because I know state politics, city politics, county politics, these all have intersections. And what are you keeping your eye out for?
Yeah, there have been a couple bills the past few years that really made me nervous, and a lot of it does revolve around local control. And Mark, you understand that. Obviously, you're looking at state office and considering that. But I think I always get nervous when our legislators, sometimes well-intentioned, have had experiences in one community that might set them off about something. Then all of a sudden they propose legislation that has a lot of unintended consequences. Around whether it's around zoning, building, or even this idea of the state's going to solve the property tax issue, or the state's going to solve your sales tax issues, when we all know it's a lot easier. If you don't like your property taxes, it's a lot easier to get rid of your local elected officials than it is to do anything at the state level.
That's right.
So there's it's things like that make me a little bit nervous. And I think there's an old adage about the sooner that wraps up and the less government that gets involved in our lives, the better. So we have a strong local delegation. Obviously, that's shifting in our area, but obviously Representative Gaines and Senator Cowsert will be back down there, and I'm very confident in what they'll be doing. But we've got a lot of change out here, and but would really hope that always encourage our legislators to be sure to reach out to the folks from home before they start listening to the lobbyists about what's important for their communities when it comes to planning and zoning and development and taxation. That's where I get a little bit nervous. But there's no specific issues I'm following at this point. But those bills tend to have a habit of coming up from the dead. There was one a few years ago that basically prevented communities from determining the quality and types of houses that were built in their communities, the size of the lots, and those kind of things. Those are inherently local decisions, and I think local citizens should have a stronger voice than a state senator from Central Georgia on that.
Yeah, agreed. And I know transportation is a big deal. When you look at every county that we are covering, from Barrow to Walton down into Oconee and Clark, as these communities grow, traffic comes along with it, and easing that burden is always a big part. What are you looking for on that side for Watkinsville? What's on the plate for y'all?
Well, Watkinsville and Madison and some of the, Morgan County, Greene County, Oconee County, and a little bit in Walton, probably not as much. We've really become a de facto freight bypass for the trucks that want to bypass Atlanta that are coming from the ports to get to I-85. They're coming through our communities and they're coming through our small towns, and they really do impact them. And that's not their fault. Obviously, these are public routes and state highways they can use. But, our request has been pretty consistent to the state legislature, and that's if you're going to increase traffic at the ports significantly, which is good for Georgia's economy, then let's not have our towns be collateral damage. And I'm really pleased that we have a road that's being engineered that will connect Highway 15 to Highway 441 outside of Watkinsville that would remove 35 to 40% of the traffic through our downtown, which is our biggest challenge. And we expect that those plans to move forward this year. The governor fast-tracked the engineering last year, so we hope to see those this year in a public setting. That would really be a game changer for downtown Watkinsville, where we can pull out that big freight traffic, that truck traffic, and really allow families to feel a little bit more safer as they maneuver through downtown Watkinsville. And I know Monroe's recently benefited from one of those connectors as well. Social Circle has as well.
Yeah, just
so we're
opened
hoping
up.
to have
Yep.
something similar here.
Well, and you're
Washington.
precisely right. When you look at I was just in downtown Monroe the other day at the main intersection of Broad and Spring Street, and there was a semi coming and making a left turn. And Brian, it is such tight quarters. And I have been there. I've witnessed it in person when a semi actually making that exact same turn ran over a car in front of me. It was the very car right in front of me and ran over the front left quarter panel. So these small towns are really not designed to host the big 18-wheelers, right? It's just that wasn't part of the thought process when they were laid out. And so the more of those big vehicles that we can get off those small streets, the better off it is for everybody. Not just the potential for accidents, but it's also the noise and the smell. So if you're sitting on a park bench or if you're walking down, strolling through town, shopping, and the big semis come through and they can be loud, they can be, there's a lot of diesel fumes coming off. So the more that we can shift those to these bypasses, the better off everybody is. And, something that you said earlier, talking about your big celebration that you guys have coming up for America 250, my big concern as a citizen is every time because I love partaking in these events, whether it's a car show, if it's a concert, or if it's a celebration of an event like America 250, the first thing I think of is how am I going to get there? Right? What is my game plan to avoid the traffic and find a place to park? And I know that's got to be a constant struggle for you guys in the city council to manage that.
Right, because you can have parking kind of like a mall, right? So on your busiest day, you've got enough parking, but the reality is 50% of that's going to sit empty all the time. And so
Right.
that's the balance that we're trying to do. And so for us, we didn't want to overpark a beautiful green space, right? Because most of the time it doesn't need 500 parking spaces, right? And that would be kind of counterproductive. So what we're doing is we're actually connecting that park to our downtown, which probably has 500 spaces, and we're connecting it to Watkinsville First Baptist Church, which has another 500 to 600 spaces. And so we're trying, and then people can walk in. They can use e-bikes. They can get in other ways, but in a very short walk, they'll be able to safely get to the park, where they could be dropped off and someone could park them there, park at the other place. So that's the idea. So it may require a little bit of a short walk to get there, but the idea is we can make it possible for people to get there and stay at the parking we do have for the handicapped and the senior citizens and others who truly need it on site, and then the people who are able-bodied, to be able to almost feel we want to create a little bit of beta effect as they come in. And walk a quarter of a mile to get to our park and enjoy that experience. Then they'll be able to rest and eat and have their lawn chairs and, hopefully enjoy some great music and watch that. So it's a delicate balance where I'm a firm believer that if we can share the parking across uses, we can make much better use of it than me creating, enough parking in a beautiful green space account for one-day celebration. I'd rather not do that.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Brian Broderick, Mayor of Watkinsville. Brian, in the last few minutes that we've got, I'll give you the floor as far as any message you have for the residents. And I agree with you that that's a great plan, having a place to park, walk to the event versus trying to get up close, because that just creates more congestion. So when we can all use a little bit of extra walking, right, Chastity? A little extra walking never hurt anybody. Maybe a golf cart shuttle plan. That would be kind of cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's the sort of thing we totally need to do. And so we're going to work with the county and work with our businesses to find out the best way to do that, and hopefully have a super easy celebration for everybody. And we haven't done that in Oconee County in a number of years, so we're excited about putting that together.
And when can we keep it out for the news on the America 250? Because I'm very excited about that. That sounds like it's going to be a blast.
Hopefully we'll have the details nailed down by February or March. Obviously there's a ton of communities trying to do things, and we're trying to find the right partners, to help us pull this off. And but we've done a pretty healthy amount of planning. We've got Daughters of the American Revolution and others lined up to help us with some old-fashioned games and different things. But we're really trying to nail down our vendors and our partners for music and celebration and things like that. So hopefully in the next 2 months we'll be able to share some of those details.
That's great. When you guys have that, please keep us in the loop too. We want to know.
Yeah, we'd love to come on and talk about that.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today, and we look forward to having you back on in the near future. And Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year to you, Mark, your team. We're grateful for what you do for our community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care. Yes, sir. All right, Chastity, that's fantastic. I know we got Mr. David Earl coming up next. We're going to take a quick break, come back, get the fishing report. Today is actually a nice day for January. It's not 38 degrees.
Yes.
So I'm excited to find out where David Earl is. But I got a little bit of news for David Earl when he calls me, because I did a little Christmas shopping at Franklin's Gun Shop this year. Yeah.
Did you find some sales?
I did.
Yes.
Mark Franklin took great care of us. I mean, that is a fantastic place to do some shopping, whether it's Christmas or anything. So I can't wait to talk to him about that. We'll be right back with the fishing report.
Roll-Off Systems of Statham, they're on a roll. They offer dumpsters in all sizes, trash compactors, porta potties, and new combo cans. Existing sites are new building sites. Trash and waste disposal, it's their business. Locally owned and operated. Call Roll-Off Systems today. 770-725-ROLL. That's 770-725-ROLL. Or go to rolloffsystems.com.
Are you considering selling your house or land, or perhaps finding your dream home? Call Stacy McCullers, your trusted real estate expert with 12 years of experience and a lifelong connection to Walton County. Stacy is here to help you every step of the way. Whether you're buying or selling, she's available anytime to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. Don't wait. Call today, 678-859-6336. A member of Malcolm & Malcolm Realty Professionals, Stacy McCullers, your realtor for life.
Youngblood Tractor in Madison is proud to be your local Massey Ferguson dealer. Massey Ferguson has been building straightforward, dependable, and affordable tractors and farm equipment for 175 years. Massey Ferguson right now has the best lineup in their 175-year history, and there has never been a better time to upgrade to a Massey Ferguson tractor. Youngblood Tractor carries the complete lineup of Massey Ferguson tractors, ranging from the 22.5 horsepower subcompact all the way up to the 130 horsepower mid-range utility tractor. And with one of the largest trailer inventories in the state, you'll always have a way to get it home. Youngblood Tractor also carries the complete lineup of hay equipment, including the legendary Massey Ferguson 1840 square baler, as well as implements like rotary cutters, batwing cutters, box blades, grapples, pallet forks, and more. There are great financing promotions to take advantage of, so give us a call today at 706-342-2242. Youngblood Tractor also has experienced parts and service departments to take care of you after the sale. Visit us online at www.youngbloodtractor.com or stop by and see us at 1600 Athens Highway in Madison.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to mainstreetbarberloganville.com to learn more.
Big news, Georgia drivers. DJ's Collision is on the move and is proud to announce their brand new home in Madison. After many years of service and social circle, the same team you know and trust is back with a fresh new look and location to serve you best. From flawless paint jobs to complete bodywork, DJ's Collision is where your car gets a second chance to shine. Check out their brand new location in Madison at 1231 Woodcraft Road. That's DJ's Collision. Give them a call at 770-760-8214. Do you have unwanted or scrap gold and silver jewelry just lying around? What about sterling flatware or gold and silver coins and bars? Madison Coin and Bullion will pay top dollar for any precious metals you own. Madison Coin and Bullion also offers a large selection of gold and silver coins and bullion available to purchase at competitive prices. And if you're looking to purchase jewelry at a considerably lower price, look no further than Madison Coin and Bullion. Madison Coin and Bullion, located at 2492 Eatonton Road in Madison, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. We're going to postpone the David Earl Fishing Report to 1:45 because it turns out David might have gotten in trouble and fell into the water and is just climbing back into the boat. It's got to get dried out, got to get his hair blown dry, and then he'll be ready to do the fishing report. But that's great because we have the Sheriff of Walton County in here in the studio with us. Sheriff, welcome to the Marc McMain Show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good seeing you. It's been, you know what? Think about this. I think you were one of the very first guests when we started this show about 3 months ago.
That's right.
If I remember correctly, we had you tucked in the corner because we weren't quite set up yet. So,
well, it's nice now.
What do you think of our new digs?
I think it's nice. I mean, it's improved.
Chastity and Charlie did a great job slicking this place up for us. So I figure what we do, Sheriff, we got some time to spend with you. And in the first segment, I wanted to talk about some of the accomplishments that you have made. This was your first full year as Sheriff of Walton County. And So let's go through some of the accomplishments, maybe some of the progress that you guys have made from a standpoint of so many things have happened. Obviously, you got the new jail that you moved into.
That's right.
Just moving from the old facility to the new facility had to be a massive undertaking.
A lot bigger than what people thought it was. They thought I would be able just to load the inmates up and move them over there. They didn't think about any evidence or files or criminal files.
Sensitive materials, yeah.
That matter of fact, that was the reason I was the last one to leave the old sheriff's office.
Yeah, when was that? What was the final date that you actually were to be able to go into the new office at the new facility?
Well, for about 2 months, I had 2 offices. When we began this process in June, once we did the ribbon cutting,
yeah,
and we dedicated the building to former Sheriff Chapman and Franklin Thornton, we began our process of training the new staff that we'd hired, and then implementing inmate movement. And when I say that is we still had kinks, things we need to work out. We didn't know what we were moving into other than a brand new facility. So we decided to move our female population over there, which is a more cooperative inmate, if you will.
Yeah.
And allow our staff to train on those inmates in a real life scenario.
Yep, that makes
situation.
sense. Yeah.
And when I did that, I was able to bring back the inmates that I was housing out at a tremendous cost to the county.
Where were we housing them, in Oconee County, or?
I housed them in Barrow County, primarily in Washington County, several different other agencies, not in Oconee, though.
But so everybody's back here now.
Everybody's back.
And if I tell our listeners, if you have not had the chance to see the new facility, this is what I'm going to recommend. Go see the old facility first.
100%.
Go drive by the old sheriff's department, just cruise through the parking lot, and then go to the new place. And it is something to absolutely be proud of. It is not just aesthetically a beautiful building, something that you can be proud of, say, hey, this is my sheriff's department. But it's also, it's got to be a million times better for you guys inside.
Well, speaking on that, I had an individual that was complaining about the tax increase, and we got the brunt of that. The public safety complex did. He was coming down there fussing about his tax increase,
right.
And he said he wanted to see what his 20% was spent on. And I said, well, instead of us going through the new facility, let's go through the old facility.
Yeah, start there.
So we went through and rewalked every inch of that facility, which I know every corner of it from being down there so long. And by the time we got through with the old facility and walked through the new facility, he's asking me what he could do for me now. Because he realized it was very clear that the old jail was outdated, antiquated, and dangerous.
Way past due.
Way past due.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you finally get to move into the new office, and now is it smooth sailing? And I know you've got some things that we're going to talk about as far as the progress that y'all made, but do you feel like you guys are now able to just hit the ground running, or are there still kinks you're working through?
Well, we've been running,
yeah.
And one of the biggest adjustments for the staff is it's so big. You're talking about 216,000 square feet.
Good Lord.
And
wow.
The average jailer now is walking anywhere from 15 to 20,000 steps a day.
Keeps him in shape.
It does, and it keeps me in shape too, because I'm going to and from. I just can't holler down the hall now and have somebody come running to my office. It definitely an adjustment for the entire staff.
Tell us about some of the benchmarks that maybe you had set for yourself and that you guys think you've achieved. So walk us through some of this.
I tell you, we've had a phenomenal year, and prior to me taking office, we were combating the staffing shortages and determining how we were going to fill those. When I walked in the door, knowing what the manpower allocation for the new jail was going to be, I had to hire somewhere around 140 people.
Wow.
And I really think a lot of people didn't think we would do it. We've been very, very successful on that. One of the first things I did was I kind of restructured our organizational culture. I'm not afraid to tell anybody where I stand with God, and we open up our staff meetings and things with prayer.
I love that. That's awesome.
I wanted them to know that God and family come first, and then the sheriff's office a close third.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's really been an eye-opening experience for even me, going through the election and looking at the unknown and not knowing. Of course, you've been through a couple elections, and you know you're going through one right now.
Sure. Yeah.
It's the uncertainty.
Stressful.
And I really refound myself and where I'm at and who I am as a person. So that was really important to me to emphasize where I wanted people to stand, knew where I stand there.
And I think that is so important. I think that's such a blessing when we have our leaders in our community that are unashamed to show where their faith is, and incorporating that. This has nothing to do with separation of church and state. The matter of fact, we need God in more stuff, not in less stuff. We need God in schools. We need God in our law enforcement. We need God in our government, because it is our moral beacon, and it's who we are as a country. I think this country was founded in Christian principles, and so I love hearing that, and I think the result is, in my opinion, when you have the Lord's blessing on what we're doing, we will be successful.
I agree with that
in any capacity. So applaud you on that.
You know, I think we had a firm and a real foundation of who we were from the former sheriffs, and I hadn't been bashful. Sheriff Chapman taught me the most important lesson, and he drove it home every day, was who we work for.
Yeah.
And it's the people of Walton County.
Right.
That office doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to the commissioners. It belongs to the people.
Yeah.
And that is the mindset that was drove into me, and the same things that I'm putting out to the people that work for the sheriff's office, is that we work for the people. Very, very important. Probably the most important thing about law enforcement.
Well, and I think that isn't just for law enforcement. I think it's every branch of government. That sight, what you just said there, gets lost so often. I think elected officials, maybe they get, I like to call them beer muscles, where they get elected and all of a sudden they think they're the big dog, and they're not. At the end of the day, you are answering to your constituents and your voters. And boy, does that get lost quite often. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We're sitting down with the Sheriff of Walton County, Keith Brooks. Sheriff is going to be giving us some data on what he has done, what they've accomplished. But like I said, I couldn't ask you to tee it up any better than what you just said there, Sheriff, to put our foundation in God, and everything builds from that.
100%.
So what were some of the biggest challenges outside of moving from the old building to the new building, getting the inmates moved over? What are some other things that you guys face, and how do you think you've tackled those?
Well, the biggest obstacle was hiring the people. So I had approximately 144 positions to hire. I had to ask for the new positions, 75
Right.
new positions to even open up the new facility.
That's just so you can run the place.
That's correct. So prior to me taking office, I had come up with a new pay plan or pay schedule for the people, and I didn't reinvent the wheel. I talked with other sheriffs that worked with him. My good friend in Barrow County, his chief deputy Mike Ham came down and sat down with us for about 3 or 4 hours one day and explained everything to us. I sat down with the county manager and said, look, we need to have a step increase that allows me to hire people in, and pays them for their prior service, pays them for their education, pays them for if they've been in the military, if they have any specialized certifications, that allowed me to hire these people in that had prior service in different communities and bring them here into Walton County, and bring experience here at a higher rate than just the entry level.
And this is just to be competitive.
That was to be competitive.
Yeah.
Well, we had done some pay studies the county had that had brought us up over the years, but we were constantly behind. And my numbers that I figured up, we were about 15 to 18% behind. And the same pay study that the county did, it was pretty close to that. So we were able to implement that. That was a huge notch in our belt that I felt like we were able to complete that. and start the deputies on that new pay schedule. And I was able to go back throughout the entire staff of the sheriff's office and give them the same steps. So if you had a bachelor's degree, if you had a master's degree, if you had...
Everybody got rewarded.
Everybody got rewarded.
Yeah. And that's critically important because I don't think people understand. I mean, first off, nobody gets into law enforcement for the money. The deputies, what we pay them, if I had my way, it would be double. I mean, it's just we don't pay them enough. But obviously, what you're doing is getting them there. Nobody's looking to get rich. They just don't want to go broke being a deputy and protecting our community.
Well, we really have some good people, and I got the numbers to back up what I'm talking about. I'll give you an example from our hiring retention outcomes from 2020 to 2024. The sheriff's office hired 211 people, and we lost 181 of them.
Wow!
And there was a lot of contributing factors to that. Not only having the old facility, which was horrendous, terrible to work in.
Yeah.
And unsafe for not only the inmates but the deputies and detention staff that were working there. The morale was really low, and it was no fault of anybody else's because we had people that were fighting to get what we needed.
Right.
And once we got that in 2025, I've hired 133 and I've retained 91 of them.
Much higher rate. I mean, that's that first
13% to 68%.
Yeah, just bizarre.
And I contributed a lot to things. You know, we got a new culture, we got a new facility, we got a new pay scale, we got a real positive momentum going for the sheriff's office. And I'm at a point now that we've completed these tasks and completed getting these people in. Now I got to retain them.
Yeah.
And I'm working with the commissioners on that right now as we speak. So
you listen to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, more with Sheriff Keith Brooks, Sheriff of Walton County.
AI now touches nearly every part of life, from writing articles to even driving cars. But it raises a deeper question. If we created AI, where did our intelligence come from? The Bible says it's a gift from God. He gave us the ability to think, reason, and make sense of the world. Some assume Christianity is just blind faith, believing something is true because the Bible says so. But that's not the case. Genuine faith invites tough questions. It engages the mind. As one pastor said, you don't have to give up your intellect to trust the Bible. You have to give up your pride. Real intelligence isn't just logic or knowledge. It's knowing the God who made you and loving Him with every part of who you are, including your mind. This is Bryant Wright. Really, Bryant Wright, not AI, speaking right from my heart.
Seeking spiritual truth? RightFromTheHeart.org has resources just for you.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
Hey y'all, it's Bethany at Willfully Guided Co. Boots and Western Apparel. Whether you're on the job site, in the barn, or out on the town, we've got the perfect boots for every occasion. From rugged work boots to stylish fashion picks, let us outfit the entire family from head to toe. Come see us at 116 South Broad Street, right in the heart of beautiful downtown Monroe. Willfully Guided Co. Boots and Western Apparel, your local family-owned destination for the finest boots and apparel around.
Get ready to twist and shout and rock around the clock because good time oldies. FM 102.5 has brought the golden age of music back to Walton County and your radio. From sock hop classics of the 50s to the groovy vibes of the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, it's wall-to-wall hits that define generations. Whether you're cruising in your Chevy or chilling at home, tune in and turn it up because these oldies aren't just good, they're legendary. It's Good Time Oldies, FM 102.5 WKUN.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to mainstreetbarberloganville.com to learn more.
When it comes to tasty treats, the only place you need to be is Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Offering high-quality Georgia pecans, other nuts, dried fruits, coffees, and candies, Stone Mountain Pecan has it all. And the best part, it's all online at stonemountainpecan.com. Or take it all in person and visit their country store on Highway 78 in Monroe. Stone Mountain Pecan Company. Something for everyone. Eat well, be happy.
This is Q92.3 WMOQ FM, Bostwick, Monroe, Madison. Your home for real country.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. We're visiting with the Sheriff of Walton County, Keith Brooks. We're discussing the complexities and accomplishments that he has faced and that he has achieved during 2025, his first year as Sheriff of Walton County. There's a number that you shared with me, Sheriff, in the break. It is less expensive to take the appropriate steps and to keep good talent than it is to lose that person and to rehire. That number that you just shared with me, so if you lose a deputy, let's say, for example, and what you have to go through to hire a new deputy, to retrain them, to get them up to par, up to speed, costs what, north of $40,000?
About $47,000.
Yeah, so fiscally...
That's not accounting equipment either.
Not accounting equipment. So it's lesser expensive to just get the pay scale right and to pay these guys right so they stay
100%.
And increase that retention rate.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just common sense. If this was a business, Sheriff, it would be, we would look at this and we say it makes more sense to do this and do the right thing and keep people than to constantly having to lose them and retrain and recycle.
100%. And that's what we've been focused on. We've been, at this point right now, it's so critical that I retain these people that we've hired, we've spent the money to, we've invested in them, and they've invested in us. Some people are going to leave because it's just not for them, they realize. I was looking at some resignations that I had from the last couple of months that most of it is because of family.
Yeah.
You know, they realize night shift's not for them. Or,
right.
One jailer, wife just had a baby, and she had some issues with that, and he had to be at home with her. And he, instead of electing to stay on and become a burden because he wasn't able to come up and show up for shift, he stood up and said, look, I'm going to have to do this. I'm not going to be able to work. I don't want to punish you for my shortcomings.
Well, and I think there's also a sense of comfort from a citizen's perspective when I am engaging with law enforcement, which, thank the Lord, I'm typically engaging with them under good circumstances. I don't misbehave. I'm a good boy, so I stay out of trouble. But there's a sense of comfort, Sheriff, in seeing the same men and women over and over, right?
That's right.
Because some of these guys I coached when they were soccer players at George Walton Academy. Some of them you see them at luncheons or different events that you've done, and you get to know them. So to see those same faces, these are people that a lot of them have grown up here or they live here, and we've known them for years. So there's value in that as well.
And that's what we want.
Yeah.
We want people that are vested in the community. We want people that's has pride about themselves and represents us well when they leave the county.
Tell us about the 911 communication centers. When you moved from the old jail to the new jail, did that also have to come over?
Well, that's a whole different story. The 911 was a separate department within the county.
Okay. And
the chairman and the county manager asked me, would I take them under my wing, up under my administration, and I did. I have known Winder Williams, who's our director. She's now a division commander of the sheriff's office. Probably one of the smartest women that I know when it comes to 911 communications and how it operates, because I knew nothing other than just calling on the radio and saying, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah.
So I've learned a tremendous lot about it. Colonel Wisnett has spent a great deal of time with them and brought them under our umbrella, and it's worked out pretty well. People don't realize how many they answer. We respond or answer calls for all public safety, and dispatch calls for deputy sheriffs, Monroe, Loganville, and Social Circle.
Anything from a cat in a tree to, hey, somebody's breaking into my house.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'd ask for some numbers for them because we respond to. We take in so many calls on a daily basis, a yearly basis. It's in the hundreds of thousands of calls.
Just here in Walton County.
Just here in Walton
That's
County.
mind-blowing. And another thing I'll say is this. How many times have you seen a movie, right, where somebody calls 911 in a situation of duress and they're put on hold or they have to wait? We don't have that in Walton County. That call gets answered pretty darn quick. So we're so fortunate that is that facility, is the 911 team, is that held or is that operated in the new facility, Sheriff, or is that a remote location?
It's in the center of Walton County.
Okay.
So it's not on our campus.
Got you. Yeah.
It's more or less now a precinct of Walton County, but it's just for them to operate out of.
What about, so going back to the 140 people that you had to hire, right? Did you get all that? Did you get everybody hired? Or do you still got a little work to do?
We are, of course, with some of the attrition that we've had, I have about 30 positions left throughout the entire sheriff's office, which is less than what we had when I took office. Another side note, when I took office, 911 had 9 vacancies.
Okay.
And we had negotiated with, through our budget request, to get that number up. So I've hired the vacancies, the 9, and then the commission has agreed to give me 4 additional dispatchers every year throughout my term.
So 911's fully staffed. Yeah, that's
very
fantastic.
close to it, yeah.
Have y'all also, and I don't know, you and I haven't discussed this, so I'm just kind of learning for myself. Are you constantly, let's say, massaging the training process to be sure that the deputies are familiar with the latest and greatest technology or equipment? You know, how do you guys stay on top of that?
Well, I did a lot of restructuring. We had a training division for each one of the jail side and the law enforcement side.
Okay.
I combined those two to have one training division just because of logistics within the new facility. We have a whole training division, which if you come in as a newly hired detention staff, you'll go through that process, FTO or JTO, through jail training officer program, through the sheriff's office, out of that training program, and that handles anything from new case law all the way down to firearms, to taser training, to dealing with mental health patients and things like that.
And that's a whole different can of worms. I could spend a whole show talking about that element.
Yes, sir.
You know, you guys have to become experts into mental health capacity, which really shouldn't be, right? That's something that the state needs to participate and help out with.
Well, I can tell you right now, if it weren't for our new medical facility that we have in the new jail, which we have 56 beds, and probably more than half of them are filled right now, and not all with just sick people, but mentally ill people. One of the things that frustrates me the most is dealing with DBHDD and the commissioner is we have two. You have a inmate that needs to be restored. That's going to take on average of about 400 days before he is even being seen.
And so you're housing him in the interim.
And if one has to go to court and they determine whether he's competent, that's another 408 days. So they could actually be there 800 days before they even determine whether they're going to be found guilty or even have a court case on them, which is it's.
Well, I tell people this too: as taxpayers, not only are you funding the room and board, but you're also funding the care,
correct,
the meds or whatever it is, the treatments that they're getting. So that is a massive burden. I don't know what that number looks like, but that's a massive burden back on Walton County residents.
I mean, it's open record. I mean, my budget is $6 million this year for medical care for the inmates.
$6 million,
which we're constantly reevaluating that. mindful of what they're spending.
Yeah.
If an inmate's sent out, but I used to hear Sheriff Chapman say, "How do you budget for a heart attack?" Or how do you budget? You don't.
You can't.
You
just got to deal with it.
You just got to deal with it. And some inmates, we try to minimize that cost by where it's applicable for us to either put them on an ankle monitor but some inmates you can't. Just based on their charges, that it's our job to make sure that they stay in custody. And I have a deputy sheriff or two sitting with them when they're at the hospital having surgery or whatever medical event they may be having.
Think about that, the complexities of that if somebody needs care. Wow. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. We're sitting down with Sheriff Keith Brooks, Sheriff of Walton County. Talk about some of the equipment, Sheriff, too. With the new jail comes some new stuff. I think Walton County has some of the coolest cars and SUVs in the business. They're very intimidating looking, as they should be. I hate when I see one in my rearview mirror because I think, oh, my goodness, was I going 15 miles over?
Well, people don't realize that it's not the Andy Griffith days of law enforcement. The cars are I changed the process in which we buying cars. I went through a lease program through Loganville Ford.
Okay.
It's going to be a tiered program where your patrol cars will be outfitted a certain way with all the bells and whistles, all the computer equipment, all of the lights and things necessary for them to do their job on a daily basis. And then I'll have our SRO division and our civil division, which it'll look the same but have less equipment in it. And then, of course, our criminal investigation, there'll be a regular unmarked car with the least amount of equipment. One of the things I'm most proud of that this is going to be a monumental for Walton County is something that we've changed in our camera system in the cars, which will incorporate body cameras for all of the deputy sheriffs that's in uniform and those in the jail too, that when they're dealing with people on having an encounter with it, it'll be recorded. And that's something that we haven't done, and it was just because of the cost, but it was at a good point in time to make that change with the new vehicles coming and the new process that we were doing and the new agreements that we were able to make with Motorola and things like that.
State-of-the-art stuff.
It's going to be nice.
That's something we can be proud of. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, more with Sheriff Keith Brooks, Sheriff of Walton County.
Lake Life is the Lake area's largest award-winning magazine, reaching over 25,000 readers. Pick up your copy of Lake Life magazine today. Get Lake Life free at over 100 convenient locations in Georgia's Lake Country. And keep in mind, you'll receive your free copy with a subscription to the Lake Oconee News or the Eatonton Messenger. Lake Life. It's all about the lives and events in Georgia's Lake Country. Call 706-485-3501 to subscribe. Lake Life, the biggest, the best, and it's free.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal, you're part of a tradition. I'm Josh Parker, fourth generation owner, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Mondays for lunch and Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
Foy Tree Service, a name and business you have trusted for many years, is proud to announce Foy Septic Service, offering septic tank pumping, repairs, installs, and more, serving Morgan County, Lake Oconee, and the surrounding area. It's recommended that your septic tank be pumped and serviced every 3 to 5 years, depending on your septic tank system. That's Foy Septic Service, locally owned and operated. Call Brandon at 706-319-2997.
Madison Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood. They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops. All military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
Welcome back. Marc McMain. Our guest is Keith Brooks, Sheriff of Walton County. Chastity, the reason we take these breaks is not just to run the commercials. It's because I need time to eat some of these glazed pecans that you bought me from Stowe Mountain Pecan.
They're so good.
And I know I'm sounding like a commercial right now. This isn't a commercial. I'm just digging some of these pecans. But my question is, how many of these, because you can see that the bundle is starting to diminish. Yeah, I know. At what point should I pump the brakes?
Yeah.
At what point do these become lunch?
Just put the lid on.
Put the lid on, all right.
Push them away.
The lid's on. Sheriff, don't let me get back into those pecans. Those are dangerous.
Just slide them over here. I'll take them with me.
Oh, this is great. Sheriff, I left out a couple things. Tell me about the K-9 program. You know, how many dogs do y'all have? And tell us about this whole process. How do they get trained to be sure that they're ready to serve?
Well, we have several. We have 7 dogs. Let me rephrase that. We have 5 right now.
Okay.
I have 2 on order. They specialize anywhere from bomb detection, article searching, to patrol dog. When I say a patrol dog, it means they'll be able to apprehend you.
Wow.
And
so each dog has a specialty as to what they're known for.
That's correct.
And is there a specific breed when you're placing this order? Are they coming to you and saying, "Hey, this particular breed of dog is great for this"? I mean, how does that get selected?
We generally have two types of dogs, either German Shepherd or Belgian Malinois. And the Alabama K9s who we deal with, they try to team up a dog with a handler. It's not just saying I'm going to give somebody a dog. It's weeks of training, and then we are mandatory to train once a week, and with multi jurisdictions that they go around from Doraville to Walton County to any other dogs that may be a part of that program.
And then, like you said, then they have to be sure that there's a relationship or a bond between the handler and the canine itself.
That's correct.
My dog, Max, is 13 years old. He's great at sniffing out drugs. Is it too late for him? Has Max got a chance at this?
Max is on the tail end of his career.
He is deaf now, and he's losing his sight. But no, I find the canine program just captivating when you think about what these dogs are able to do. Obviously, it provides another layer of safety between our deputies and danger.
Mm-hmm.
But these dogs are nothing short of amazing.
And you know, the thing that I want to put out there is our dogs have found article searches where people have been in armed robbery and found guns that people have buried. They found money. They found people that have gotten lost, whether they're dementia patients or children, and it's just not. And if somebody wants to act up, if they want to take off running, they can run them down and catch them too.
Can you imagine that, getting chased by a dog? Mercy. The
2 new canines that I'm wanting to buy, one of them I'm going to put in the jail for contraband in the jail.
Okay.
And the second one will be in the school system. And those 2 will be passive alert dogs, and they'll be able to complement each other and help each other do their specific task on a daily basis.
And what can they detect? Is it obviously drugs would be the first thing they detect?
Anything you train them on.
Really? So they can detect gunpowder, explosives.
That's correct.
Ammunition. Wow. Mm-hmm. Just incredible. Yeah, but that's it. And so you've got 5 now, you've got 2 on order, so that brings you to a total of 7. And then tell me about the precincts, because I know this has been also an important thing for you to kind of expand. Walton County geographically is a huge county, so you got to have reach in other areas.
I have a precinct in Loganville at Meridian Park, one in Good Hope, and they're manned. And then once the roundabout was going to come through Walnut Grove, which we had one.
I remember that. Yeah, at the corner.
It got taken down.
Yeah.
So that was a void that we had. We'd served that community for years and years and years, and when they took the precinct away from us or tore it down for growth, I sat down with the superintendent of the schools and the principal of Walnut Grove High School and made my mind up. I wanted to put that precinct in the Walnut Grove High School parking lot, which they were all for. And in the climate of the day with Appalachia going on, I felt like, where could I serve this community the best? And where was I going to have 1,800 people at one time?
Right.
And have deputies in and out of the parking lot, have a full-service precinct there that would not only serve as a liaison between the main office of the sheriff's office and the people we serve, but add a layer of protection to that school over there, which is
brilliant.
the most important resource that we have.
Just brilliant. Just brilliant. Yeah, this is a big geographic county, so the value of a precinct, that is if there is an emergency, that you actually have officers or deputies right there ready to respond. So you have Walnut Grove, I guess that would be considered south. Is that right?
Well, it would be west, I would say. Or
West? Okay.
West, southwest.
Yep. Then we have one right outside the radio station here over in Good Hope. Yep. And that's manned.
It is.
And then we've got, you said Meridian.
Meridian
Am I
Park.
missing one? Do we have another
That's
precinct?
it.
That's yeah.
For now.
Yeah. Think about that. Yeah, I mean that's now if you have an emergency, you're on the west side, south side of the county, and if there's not a patrol car within minutes, you got somebody right there.
Well, we have we have deputies that are assigned zones throughout the whole county.
Okay.
And deputies are constantly patrolling here and there and different places, but it gives them a place not only they can come in and do their reports, they can come in and meet the public, take reports, serve them and take care of their needs there. They should be able to get everything they need at one of those precincts, just as if they were walking in the front door of the new sheriff's office.
I love that. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Keith Brooks, Sheriff of Walton County. Chastity always has some of the best questions for us, and she's got some good ones here. Trending crime rates, we're growing. It's going to come, right? As you have people that enter this county, unfortunately, not everybody shares our good behavior standards, right? Some people come here and they don't have the best intentions. How do you guys manage that, and are you seeing an uptick, and how are you managing when you do see these upticks in crime?
Well, it depends on what it is. One of the things that's near and dear to my heart is I created an SVU unit for sexual crime.
Yeah.
We're part of the Child Advocacy Center. I'm a board member down there that treats and gives forensic interviews to children that are victims of these cases. One of the biggest things that we had going on is the fraud. People utilizing the sheriff's office to obtain money, saying, I'm going to come lock you up for a warrant.
They've called me. Yeah.
I don't know how many phone calls I've fielded or reports that we've taken. One of the things that I think we're fortunate of, and that we're getting up to staff again, is being able to be out there proactively and being seen in the public, whether it's speed enforcement, where if it's concentration on DUIs or things like that. But the most important thing is letting the people know that file these reports that are victims in these cases, that we're here and that we're going to work for them and we're going to do what's right.
They trust the process.
That's right.
And if somebody does have a concern, let's say they see something they don't like, or if they're concerned about something, how do you recommend that they reach out to Walton County? Is there a tip line? Is there some way that they can?
We do have a tip line, but the best way is to call 911.
Okay.
Back in the day, everybody wanted to call the sheriff. So I probably get 100 phone calls a day, and I was like, hey.
You personally?
I do. But if you call me, I'm going to have to turn around and call and dispatch somebody myself. So the quickest way to get a response is to dial 911 and then call me. And then I'll make sure that they follow up with that.
Yeah, and I think what happens, too, is people have an apprehension to dial 911, not for a bad reason, but for a good reason. Perhaps they feel like they're clogging the system for something that is not ultimately important. But 911 has a way to work all this out.
That's right.
Yeah, so if it's something as simple as, hey, I've got a dog in my yard, call 911 is what you're saying, and they'll sort it out.
If it's important to you, it's important to us.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Sheriff, let's go back to the sexual victims unit. This is, I know, like you said, a big deal for you. What was the impetus for this, to bring this about? Because, unfortunately, this is something that we've seen an uptick in. There's some complete creeps and animals out there that have done terrible things, and this provides a certain service to those who've been victims of this.
Well, some years ago, we had an investigator that worked on nothing but these cases like this. And I walked in his office and I said, what are you looking at? And he showed me a clip of just a clip.
Man.
And it enraged me. It made me so mad I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
And I said, if I ever got in a position, which we've always worked on, even when I was chief deputy, we had people and investigators that worked them, and I commend them for the things that they have to see and what they were doing with it. But I said if I ever got in a position, I wanted to create a unit that specialized in not only targeting these people, putting them in prison where they need to be at, and for as long as they need to be, and to protect these people that they're getting victimized.
Yeah.
And in today's world, I speak to every 5th grade class coming through Walton County, and I'm mainly speaking to their parents. I ask them how many of them gave them a cell phone.
Yeah.
They have access to all of the soot and the crime
filth
that goes on in this world, and they don't even realize it. And it's their responsibility to monitor what these kids are looking at.
Yeah.
Society has desensitized themselves so much. Even what we watch on TV today is not what we watched 20 years ago.
There's no doubt, Sheriff. You're right. Yeah.
And it's sad that so what I did is I restructured our sex offender team that we have that monitors all the sex offenders in Walton County with 2 investigators and an intel analyst, and put them all under one umbrella in CID. I have a sergeant who's a supervisor over it, and an investigator, and then 2 deputy sheriffs that will follow up on all of these sex crimes that come in.
And I know there's a certain aspect of this, too, to be sure you're handling these victims with care, right? It's such a sensitive subject. Yeah.
It's traumatic for everybody involved, from the family members on down. It wasn't just long ago, a couple of weeks ago or last week, that we had a sex offender that was due to go to trial. And I
remember that, heard that story.
We located him with the help of the FBI in Mexico, Missouri.
Wow.
And I was determined that he was going to spend New Year's Eve in Walton County jail, where he needed to be. And so I put 2 deputies in the car, and they went to Mexico, Missouri, and he spent the night in Walton County Jail.
Good for y'all. Congratulations on bringing him back.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, good for you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that was big news. And you're right, going back to what you said a second ago, the desensitizing of what's taken place over our culture over the past 30 years. Think about this. When you and I were kids, and I wasn't much a big TV guy when I was younger. I was telling Liliana about this last night. I never really watched TV other than maybe Saturday morning cartoons. But if you think of the sitcoms in the 70s and 80s, the level of violence in those sitcoms was nil, right? I remember the big deal. Remember when JR died in Dallas, right? That was probably one of the first situations where you had a live character on a show die, right? And now, boy, you turn on television and it's all there, right? It's graphic, it's explicit, it's violent. And so there's no doubt that has changed. I think it's changed our culture.
It has.
And then it's bled into video games. It's bled into what you see on the cell phone. And so, we are bombarded. And when I say we, the unfortunate part about this, Chastity, it's not us, it's our kids. Yeah. Bombarded with things that we never dreamed of seeing.
Well, that's because they know how to operate it and we don't. You brought back some memories when I was growing up, and I only had 3 channels.
Yeah, right.
The most violent thing I watched was Saturday Night Wrestling.
Wait, but think about like the old police shows, the old 911. They always ended good, right? It looked tragic. You could have swore, okay, this is going to be the episode where somebody dies in that building that's on fire, and nobody ever died, right?
That's right.
It always ended good. Now you watch a show like that, and they're bringing out dismembered bodies, and it's just it's a different animal.
Well, and they don't expect any less.
No. I guess that's the appetite is there.
I wonder what in the heat of the night in 2021 or 2026 would be like.
Yeah,
that was my favorite show.
That was a good show. Not far from here, right? Wasn't that? Was that Covington County?
Yeah.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, one more segment with our sheriff, Keith Brooks, sheriff of Walton County.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
Get ready to twist and shout and rock around the clock because good time oldies. FM 102.5 has brought the golden age of music back to Walton County and your radio. From sock hop classics of the 50s to the groovy vibes of the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, it's wall-to-wall hits that define generations. Whether you're cruising in your Chevy or chilling at home, tune in and turn it up because these oldies aren't just good, they're legendary. It's good time oldies. FM 102.5 WKUN.
Lake Life is the Lake Area's largest award-winning magazine, reaching over 25,000 readers. Pick up your copy of Lake Life magazine today. Get Lake Life free at over 100 convenient locations in Georgia's Lake Country. And keep in mind, you'll receive your free copy with a subscription to the Lake Oconee News or the Eatonton Messenger. Lake Life. It's all about the lives and events in Georgia's Lake Country. Call 706-485-3501 to subscribe. Lake Life, the biggest, the best, and it's free.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal, you're part of a tradition. I'm Josh Parker, fourth generation owner, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Mondays for lunch and Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
Foy Tree Service, a name and business you have trusted for many years, is proud to announce Foy Septic Service, offering septic tank pumping, repairs, installs, and more, serving Morgan County, Lake Oconee, and the surrounding area. It's recommended that your septic tank be pumped and serviced every 3 to 5 years, depending on your septic tank system. That's Foy Septic Service, locally owned and operated. Call Brandon at 706-319-2997.
Madison Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood. They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops. All military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
Are you considering selling your house or land, or perhaps finding your dream home? Call Stacy McCullers, your trusted real estate expert with 12 years of experience and a lifelong connection to Walton County. Stacy is here to help you every step of the way. Whether you're buying or selling, she's available anytime to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. Don't wait. Call today, 678-859-6336. A member of Malcolm & Malcolm Realty Professionals, Stacy McCullers, your realtor for life.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to MainStreetBarberLoganville.com to learn more.
Hey y'all, it's Bethany at Willfully Guided Co. Boots and Western Apparel. Whether you're on the job site, in the barn, or out on the town, we've got the perfect boots for every occasion. From rugged work boots to stylish fashion picks, let us outfit the entire family from head to toe. Come see us at 116 South Broad Street, right in the heart of beautiful downtown Monroe. Willfully Guided Co. Boots and Western Apparel, your local, family-owned destination for the finest boots and apparel around.
Welcome back. Marc McMain. We're visiting with Sheriff Keith Brooks, Sheriff of Walton County. Sheriff, I want to talk about something that I know is really important to the Sheriff's Department. Many municipalities have this program in place, and we do too here in Walton County. This is the Deputies Beyond the Badge program, where if you are a taxpayer, you can allocate a certain portion of your, well, let's phrase this better. I guess, and I'm not a CPA, but you can make a donation against your
tax liability,
your state tax liability.
That's correct.
And it's a tax credit. So what this means is if you were to donate, let's say $500 to this entity, and you guys get to use it to purchase bulletproof vests, different pieces of safety equipment, or certain things that you can use it for, right?
Right.
Then you as a taxpayer get a tax credit. It's not a tax deduction. A tax credit means you get dollar for dollar, every dollar back.
That's correct.
What you donated.
Yes.
This is a no-brainer.
And this is actually through the less crime tax credit. It's Georgia Senate Bill 361. It was written in 2023 and became law. And hopefully, this is something that Governor Kemp that wanted to make sure stayed in place while he's in office.
Yeah.
This is, single filers can give up to $5,000 of their tax liability. Married couples up to $10,000. Qualified C corporations up to 75% of that tax liability. This is truly something that's beneficial to the Walton County Sheriff's Office. We've used these funds. They can be used for a number of things, but primarily what we've been using them for is to purchase equipment that the Sheriff's Office needed. I took monies out of this that we've had donated to help purchase our armored personnel carrier, or that actually people ask me, well, what you going to use that for? I was like, have you ever been shot at?
Yeah.
We had one before.
Right.
That Sheriff Chapman got. It was a APC, a tracked vehicle that the Obama administration took away from us.
They took it away?
They took it away, and he and I could actually go and show you where bullets bounced off of that in a couple of incidents that we were involved in here in Walton County.
I've seen that new machine, and it is amazing.
And it'll save people's lives.
Yes, it will.
Lives.
Yep.
And not only protect the deputies, but if somebody needs us to respond and be there, we'll have a safe manner in which to get there to do that.
Yeah, I'll read this to the listeners. So this was enacted to allow Georgia taxpayers to claim tax credit for supporting local public safety efforts by contributing to qualified law enforcement foundations. That's the key, folks. Be sure that you are actually reaching out. We're going to give you a phone number in just a minute here, so you're going to the right entity, because like the sheriff and I were talking in the break, there are scams taking place. People are going to be out there soliciting your dollars, and they are not legitimate entities that are going to help our law enforcement. So listen closely when we point you to the right direction, where if you do want to participate in this, your contribution makes it to the right place, and it becomes a tax credit, which means every dollar that you contribute comes back to you. You got to speak to your accountant as far as the moving parts on this, because everybody's situation might be a little bit different. We're just going to give you the basic nuts and bolts, but all funds will be used to directly support Walton County deputies through bonuses, training, and equipment. Now, check this out. We cover a lot of different areas. I guarantee you, I know Oconee County has this program. I'm sure Morgan County does, Barrow County does. So while we have the Walton County Sheriff with us, and we're going to be promoting this event here today, wherever you live, you've got an entity like this that you can find. So it's Deputies Beyond the Badge. Is that the best place for them to do, Sheriff, is go to that website?
It is.
So
or contact me. I've had people just out of the blue call me and say, and show up and already went through their CPA and have a check for me, and I'd come by there and pick it up. It's very simple, the process. And then we have people in place that if they have any questions, and I hope she doesn't mind me giving her number out, but Rachel Sikowski, who's a board member of Deputy Beyond the Badge.
Okay.
Her number is 770-266
1527.
1527. I didn't have my glasses on.
Yeah, 770-266-1527. That's not her cell number, is it, Sheriff? That's her office number.
That's office line.
Well, we probably use that phrase "no-brainer" too much in life now because it's such a cool phrase. But if there's ever been a no-brainer, this is it, because you get the money back.
Now, let me explain something about Deputies Beyond the Badge, and there's two accounts set up in there. One for this account, the tax credit account, which can be that we use, and then the Deputies Beyond the Badge has an account that we use to help. We put on our Christmas programs with it. We put on our Christmas parties and take care of when we have deaths in the family. And when I say family, the members of the Sheriff's Office, we take care of them. Retirements and things like that.
Yeah.
That comes out of that account. It's something that's beneficial for the employees.
Just good stuff.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, folks, contribute to this. Whatever county you're in. For Walton County, deputiesbeyondthebadge.org, and that's where you learn more, or call Rachel, 770-266-1527. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Keith Brooks, Sheriff of Walton County. Sheriff, how are you doing? So you got 1 year under your belt. You getting any sleep? You managing this?
Look, when I decided to do this, I was at peace about where I was at in my life, spiritually. My wife and I had a good, sound relationship. That my kids were, one was graduating college and one's still in college. That's probably the most stressful part I have. So when I decided to do this, I had 100% support from all of them. My mom and dad still live here in the community. I'm at peace of where I'm at. I sleep good every night.
Good.
I got a good tenured staff at the sheriff's office that does an excellent job, keeps me informed. They have the same mindset that I have. I believe in working hard. I believe in getting up and going to work every day. And that's the same thing I've done for the last, this year I'm starting my 34th year.
34th year in law enforcement. That's fantastic. And the proof of concept is the results that are coming out for what you're putting into this. You talked about family support. What a critical part, because when you are sheriff, you still got a campaign. I mean, it's an elected office. You're not appointed. Mm-hmm. So there's that element to it. Is not just, hey, I got to get up, go to work, be sure that the county, the sheriff's department is running smoothly. You also have to be prepared to run again. I mean, it's a 4-year term, so you got a little bit of breathing room, but before you know it, you're back on the trail.
Well, I feel like I'm on the trail every day.
Yeah.
Of doing what I told people I was going to do.
Right.
I spend a great deal of my time visiting with people in the community, our senior citizen groups, the school groups, going and talking to the local pastors. And it's not uncommon for me, because some days, are better than others, that I'll go see one of my many pastor friends and say, hey, I need a prayer. And then, I don't know how many times I'm not on Tommy Fountain's door, and he comes out the door and goes, well, what are you here for? And I say, what do you think? I think, I feel good where we're at. I feel healthy. I feel, I do have some me time. I have a place in Wilkes County I go to.
You were in a deer stand yesterday, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah.
And my staff, they hate when I go there, because I start sending them texts, because I'm sitting there. I've got my mind cleared, and I may or may not shoot a deer. I hadn't killed a deer this year. It's the first time since 1981. So, but I really enjoy it.
Yeah, but you need to decompress and disconnect. I mean, you need that downtime with your family, with your boys, with your wife, because this is a job that you're going to carry home with you. It
is.
I can imagine your mind's still going at 10 o'clock at night.
Well, I think the best experience that I had, that not only did I begin my career at the sheriff's office, but the last 12 years of being chief deputy, of seeing the amount of time that I poured into it, and I laughed, because a lot of times I'd say, what's the last thing I do before I leave? I'd turn the lights out.
You're the last guy there.
But it was probably the best experience for me.
Yeah.
And being able to watch, Sheriff Chapman work, see how he did things, working for 3 other sheriffs and seeing what worked for them and what didn't work, more importantly. I think it helped me. It put me in a place. And I don't think that, anybody, I believe this, if you're not at peace with something, and you don't have God in your life and lean on Him, then it just makes it a lot more difficult. And I'm at a place in my life right now that all the things, the moon and stars have lined up.
I think as human beings, we try to force things sometimes, right? And so often, if you just sit back and you put it in God's hands and you pray and work through that angle, it just comes out better. And like I said, as we said at the beginning of this interview, it's not just for personal lives. We need it in every facet of our life. We need it in whether it's in law enforcement, in schools, in government. the more we have Christ as part of our lives,
Yes.
the better that everything turns out. In the remaining couple minutes, Sheriff, what's next in 2026? So I can only imagine that you grew as a leader in 2025. You probably did things, I'm sure you did, as being a sheriff for the first full year. You went through some things that you didn't expect. You grew. Your leadership style established itself. So with that under your belt, one full year under your belt, what's next?
To continue to provide the level of service that we've done this year, and to complete our mission. You know, we have a full-time recruiting team at the sheriff's office, and we thought outside the box and saw what worked for other agencies and didn't try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
My goal is to be a man of my word and do the things that I told people I was going to do, which was to give them a comfortable place to work, make them a good living for their families. Take care of what I need to take care of, whether you're an inmate in the jail or you're one of my senior staff members. I'm gonna make sure I take care of you. We still have some things that we need to accomplish. You know, my pay scale, I want to get it fully implemented.
Still got to tweak that.
I still got to tweak that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm meeting with the commissioners on that. I want somebody that comes to work at the sheriff's office to be able to see day one where they're at and 5 years where they're going to be at on the pay scale, and see their natural progression of where they can be at.
Yeah, I think that's exciting for a young deputy to know, hey, look, if I stick with this could be a place I can retire from. And that then becomes a comfort factor, and I think it makes their lives easier because, look, this is a stressful job. Mm-hmm. And so if you know that at least the financial side is taken care of, it just checks that box. It's that additional box. Sheriff, I got one more very important question for you. How good is the food? In the jail. How good is the food?
Well,
it ain't too good, is it?
Well, let me tell you, there's two different types of food at the jail. There's no really good jail food, but one of the things that I think is a feature that we have is we have staff dining now.
That's cool. Yeah, I heard about that.
And when they go to work in the jail, they're locked in there for 12 hours. And in the old facility, they either have to bring them a lunch or bring them something or drink a Coca-Cola here and there.
Yeah.
They can actually take a break, go in, sit down, have a sit-down dinner. A lot of times I'll go back there and eat too. And the reason that they put that in place is because it created an atmosphere where you could be sitting down with the sheriff eating lunch.
Yeah.
Or and be a detention officer or a temporary person and not ever have any contact with the sheriff.
Yeah.
Or the chief deputy or the chief of staff and all those, they commingle as one, and it's interesting to watch because you can see when they come in there, it's everybody's got smiles on their face and they're looking to see what they can to eat. And one of the benefits to if you work in the detention staff, that's part of. You don't have to pay anything for that.
That's excellent. That's another perk to keep people employed. I love that.
And if you're on the law enforcement side of it, it costs you $6.
Yeah.
So you can't go anywhere in Monroe and have a sit-down meal.
No, you can't.
For $6 and a cold drink.
Lunch now is $15-$20 no matter where you go. Well, this has been fantastic, Sheriff. I greatly appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy man running our county and keeping us safe. We appreciate what you, your deputies, your staff, and your admin team all do for us, and we look forward to some more updates in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It was great having
what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was awesome.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
And thank you for always stepping up in our exceptional needs community as well. You're just, your heart is the size of Texas, and we love you so much.
I love you too.
That's right. Awesome. We're blessed. Marc McMain Show. When we come back, we're going to get that fishing report that we got missed out on earlier from David Earl. We'll stick around.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
Get ready to twist and shout and rock around the clock because good time oldies. FM 102.5 has brought the golden age of music back to Walton County and your radio. From sock hop classics of the 50s to the groovy vibes of the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, it's wall-to-wall hits that define generations. Whether you're cruising in your Chevy or chilling at home, tune in and turn it up because these oldies aren't just good, they're legendary. It's good time oldies. FM 102.5 WKUN.
Madison Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood. They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops. All military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to MainStreetBarberLoganville.com to learn more.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. That was a fantastic interview with our sheriff, wasn't it, Chastity?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Sheriff Brooks is so good, and just our community's so blessed.
What a great way to come back from a 2-week hiatus. I got the mayor of Watkinsville, got the sheriff of Walton County, and then
he was on at the beginning of when we first started the show. He was our first guest.
He was our first guest, wasn't he?
Our first guest in 2026.
Think about that.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
I love that.
Coming out of the gate swinging for 2026. And what better way to get our 2026 off to a great start? We got our very own David Earl from Franklin's Gun Shop, the Fishing Report. Mr. David, how you doing, sir?
Man, I'm great. It's going to be hard to follow that up, but I'll do my dead level best.
Oh, there's no following that up. He is top notch. So, David, we figured maybe you fell off a boat or something happened, maybe a trailer incident that we couldn't get you on the phone earlier. Are you out on the lake? What are you doing today?
I was actually at work getting in some orders and trying to get it out there for people to get their fishing license. You know, you always check your driver's license, but you all ever think to do your fishing license. So everybody needs to check and get their fishing license.
Do you recommend people do that online? Because I do. I typically get my fishing license online, but you can also come to Franklin's and do it right there too, can't you?
Oh, yeah. If you're in there shopping, we can get it for you. They do that down the road at several places, but online's about, the easiest thing if you know how to do that. But some of us older people like me are more computer illiterate, and we'd rather just go in and do it in person, so we do it.
And you got to have a fishing license. DNR is no joke. If you're caught fishing without a license on a public lake, you are going to get fined. You're going to get in trouble. And so, and what is a license now for a year? It's not that expensive.
I think it's $9 or something like that.
Yeah, so
it's not much. I have to get out of state. I go out of state a bunch, so I have to get out of state license. It's a little more. You can get it for 3 days, but if I'm going to that lake more than 3 times in a year, I get it for the year.
Yeah,
because it ends up paying for itself.
So before we get into your fishing report, I got to share with the listeners. I bought some really cool presents for my boys. I wanted to get them each a good personal defense weapon. So I strolled on into Franklin's. Oh, good Lord. This was probably maybe 2 or 3 days before Christmas. Marc was there just by chance. He was there that night. And he hooked me up with 2 Smith & Wesson M&P shields. These were they're called the Performance. What was it? The Performance Collection?
The Performance Series.
Performance Series. Yeah. These are nice handguns, David. Nice handguns we got for the boys.
Oh, yeah.
So gave it to him on. What I did, I was kind of clever. I put, I bought some nice self-defense ammo, and I put the little pack of 20 rounds of ammo in their stocking. So they got that first, and then the first thing my son says, my older son looks, he says, "Dad," he goes, "This is 40 caliber. I don't have a 40 caliber."
He knew.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Right. And then we had like a little moment from A Christmas Story. He's like, "What's that behind the tree right there?" So even though my boys are in their 20s, he can still have fun. And I got to say, it was the star of the show. So I appreciate Franklin's and your whole team. They're taking, just absolute fantastic care of me that night. Getting me in, getting me on the right product, the right gun for my boys, and get me out the door with a great price. So kudos to you guys.
Absolutely.
So tell us about the fishing. What's going on?
Well, I mean, as you can see, today's Monday, and it's going to be 63 degrees today. I think by Thursday it's going to be 68 or 70.
What does this warm water do then? What does that do to the fish?
These fish, they don't know whether they're coming or going, but right now they are biting like crazy on Lanier and Hartwell and Clark's Hill. I heard they had a great tournament yesterday at Lake Oconee. Things is really picking up when the weather gets warm like this, because them fish are thinking, hey, it's cold, and that sun will come out and they'll slide up under a dock or under a tree or by a stump, something to get warm. And I mean, but it's going to be short lived. I mean, we're going to be in the 70s this week, and next week we're going to be in the highs of 40s. So then they'll get back more dormant, and you'll have to slow down and fish for them.
Yeah, and you got to find them. And I would say, so most of the people in our listener area are going to be fishing the smaller lakes, right? The interior lakes, the little ponds throughout the areas of Walton, Barrow, Oconee, Clark counties.
Yep.
And I think most of those lakes, am I wrong in saying that most of those lakes would be more similar to Lake Oconee than the other big lakes? Is that, would you think it's an accurate statement?
Yes, because the Oconee River flows into Lake Oconee, and it's always dirty. Always dirty.
Yep.
You hardly have very much visibility in ponds, because once it rains, you get the water run off and it stains it up. But that actually brings the fish shallow, because they don't have that light penetration in the water when it's stained like that.
Okay.
And the sun beating down on them warms them up, and it doesn't bother them because they don't have eyelids.
So they're going to be in the shallows, okay?
They're going to be in the shallows. And people wonder why fish are not up shallow when the water's clear, but they don't have eyelids, and it affects them, so they stay deeper.
Interesting. See, I learn something new every day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Marc McMain Show, David Earl giving us the fishing report. David Earl from Franklin's Gun Shop. David, one thing we have learned from you is that when the water is dark, we're fishing with dark lures, right?
Absolutely.
So are you recommending crankbaits right now? You recommending worms? So if we're in the shallows, I'm assuming we're fishing with worms, and is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. If I'm going fishing today, I'm gonna start out throwing a crankbait and a chatterbait made by Hagg's Bait called the Tornado, and I'm gonna fish that really, really slow, kind of drag it on the bottom and reel it along, and throw a crankbait and bump into something, and I'll give them an hour and a half to show me they don't want that. And if they don't want that, we'll pick up a worm or a jig, and we'll slow down and touch every piece of cover that we can see that's left in the water, because a lot of the lakes are drawn down. Even some of the ponds are suffering because we hadn't had no rain. If you think about it, we really have not had any rain in the past 2 or 3 months, significant amounts that we need.
Boy, you're way more patient than I. So you go an hour and a half sticking to one style of fishing, then if it ain't biting, then you're moving on. See, I go about 3 casts, and I'm like, oh, they must not want this, and I'm on to something else. Yeah, changing the whole plan. So, and I guess
that's how I do real good in a lot of tournaments, because our guys will say, what'd you catch them on? I caught them on a buzzbait. And they'll say, I threw it. I bet I threw it 20 times. Well, I threw it 200 times. You know what I mean?
You're dedicated.
You got to keep going and filter through things, and that's where, like, you get them in the fourth quarter and you beat them down. When I get to the fourth quarter, I got to throw what brought me to where I'm at and see if they're going to bite it.
That makes sense. So if our listeners are thinking, hey, it's warm, it's nice weather, I want to get out, I want to hit an interior pond, or I want to get to one of the big lakes, Russell, Oconee, wherever it may be, they got to come to you first, because you can set them up with everything they need, from the rod, reel to the lures.
Hey, you buy a rod and reel, we'll put line on it, we'll come out here in the parking lot, we'll throw it. I don't know anywhere else that you can do that. People say, try it before you buy it. Yeah, I don't care. We just want to sell it to you. But I want you to get what you want and what's fitted for you. So we start with kids with spin casts, spinning, then to the bait caster. And a lot of people say, hey, I've never thrown a bait caster. In 5 minutes, I can have you throwing a bait caster on the outside of this building. It's amazing. You can ask your own April Lynn. She was taught in this parking lot how to throw a bait caster.
If you can teach April Lynn how to throw a bait caster, you can teach anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anybody.
No, that's fantastic. And David, one more time, tell our listeners where Franklin's Gun Shop is located.
3941 Atlanta Highway, Athens, Georgia. We're right across from Southern Surplus Building Materials and right beside Jake's Fireworks on Atlanta Highway.
Folks, you heard it from David. There's no better time to be fishing in January than right now. They are biting. The weather's warm. Get out there, get after it. David, thank you so much for joining us today, sir, and thank you for that fantastic fishing report.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And as always, God bless you, and I'll see you on the water.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
David.
All right. There's our fishing report. Today would not have been a good day if we did not get that fishing report in. Now, Chastity, what do we got lined up for tomorrow?
So tomorrow, of course, my computer is dead. So
We got somebody coming in, though. I know that.
We've got a great lineup, but I can't tell you who.
Well,
So just stay tuned.
I can tell you right now, Mitch Swan, my buddy,
Yes.
retired Marine Corps colonel,
Yes.
is going to be coming in studio. He's going to be coming in around 1:30. He's coming from Rotary Club, so he's coming in hot, right? So
Yes.
1:15, 1:30, he and I are going to do a deep dive on this whole Maduro thing. He's going to get us up to speed from the inception of why we did this up to what just took place. And then on Wednesday, retired Colonel Alan Sims, Air Force Colonel, my friend, is going to be coming in. Well, actually, he'll be calling in, and we're going to be talking about what did President Trump mean by saying we're going to run Venezuela. We're going to dig into that as well. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back on tomorrow at noon. Until then, stay safe.
Bostwick, Monroe, Madison. Your home for real country.